It does track the
Oh, there you go. See, it's in on you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Whoever speaks gets a close up, except for the people over here, obviously, because it's not giving me the close up. Oh, I don't. That's okay.
That's fine.
It's perfectly fine.
Less close-ups I get.
Right, exactly.
We're live.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight, either in person or online. The first order of business is to approve the minutes of the March 25th meeting. They've been distributed. We've all got a chance to take a look at them, so I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Glenn, start with you.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I
And
need to
you're not here,
abstain as well.
Everybody who was here has voted to approve, so they are approved. And we will go to our first case, which is our continued matter. It's Bradley and Wilford at 33 Ardsley Avenue West. Do we have anyone here for us, Sarah? Thank you. Great. Hello. I think you were on mute, so if you could mute yourself, that would be terrific. Thank you.
Perfect. David Barbuti, architect, and I must tell you up front, I am having technical difficulties here.
Righty. Okay,
Um,
thank you.
But I can walk us through until my computer behaves,
Okay,
if that's okay with you. So we were here last month. We have several area variances that we were requesting. Since then, one of which was a FAR, some setback requests and lot coverage. So trying to reduce the lot coverage, we basically reduced it a little over 1,200 square feet. So we are now 5,497 square feet proposed, which is 14.8%, which is a drastic reduction of what we had. In the zone, we're permitted 12%, which is 4,470 square feet based on the size of the lot. So we've reduced that. We've done, got rid of a lot of pavement. We got rid of the garden shed, which was impervious, and the pool shed. The garden shed encroached into the front yard of Bertha Place. So that eliminates a request for a variance on that part. And we were requesting an accessory structure nearer to the street than the principal building, which was also that garden shed. So we've eliminated 2 requested variances. So instead of 5, we're down to 3.
okay.
So once again, it's lot coverage. We are at 14.8%, which is a reduction of about 1,250 square feet. The FAR coverage permitted is 6184. We're at 6568, and a lot of that has to do with the size of the existing house. We've got a swimming pool, and that's pretty much it for that. And then the third variance, we still are going to remain that the pool can be no further in the rear yard than the rear line of the building to the street. So that's always going to be there just based on logistics of where the pool is located behind the house. And unfortunately, we are on a corner lot, so we get 2 front yards. And I'm going to still keep trying to get my screen loading, but for some reason, I have a problem with my flash drive. I guess it's corrupt, and I apologize for that.
No problem. Okay, so questions from the board. Anybody have any questions?
We're not gonna see the drawings?
Yeah, I mean, seeing the drawings would be, I agree with Charlie, that's kind of a problem.
Can I try to get it working and then come back after some of the other applicants have been heard? Or am I
Okay. There's only one other applicant. We can do that. I think it's gonna be hard for us to vote on something we haven't seen. I mean, I just don't know.
Right.
Not sure how we do that.
I-
I
Well,
don't think we
yeah, I
can.
don't think we can.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
All right, so if you can hear that applicant, let me I'll jump into my,
Let's do that, because I'd like to see it tonight if we possibly can, but I understand you're having problems, but I just don't think we can proceed all the way to the end unless we can do that. So let's go to our new matter. It is Sirota, 3 Beechwood Road. We have somebody on that.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Great, thank you.
Let me just get my stuff in line here. My name is James Krapp, representing Randy Blakefeld and Mike Sirota for 3 Beechwood. We are here before you today for a very, very minor variance on coverage. This was before you a little bit ago. For another variance on coverage, there was work that was done prior to our becoming part of the project. Right now, what we're proposing is a second-story addition with added square footage and FAR. It doesn't necessarily affect that. We're not here for that. But what we're really here for is a very, very minor addition to a previous exterior patio. So I'll share my screen and walk you through
Yeah, that would be
what
great.
we're looking for. Can you see some pictures on the left?
We can,
Max map
yes.
in the middle. Okay. So yeah, 3 Beechwood Lane. There was some work that was done previously, 21 and 22. There is, this was previously approved. There is an outdoor kitchen, and you can see there's just this there's a strip of grass, essentially a very minimal lack of coverage in between this garage and the previous patio that was previously approved. And I'll show you on the map what that is. So this is all of our coverage diagrams. That little area that I zoomed into is essentially behind the kitchenette right here. And what we're
So
trying
we're
to
not
do
even really seeing it on the map, right? Is what you're
no,
telling
no,
me,
you
right?
can't. It's very
Yeah,
minimal.
Right, okay.
What the clients realized was more than likely they probably should have just done this in the original. They want to add like a sink and some additional countertop to this area. So we're requesting an additional 16 square feet of coverage, which as we were over previously, or they were over previously, this increases our coverage to 313 total allowable. So it was previously 297 over coverage, which was previously approved by you. We're just asking for that extra 16 square feet to finish up that patio. So that's, plus or minus what we're asking for. It really doesn't change our position in the neighborhood on coverage or anything else, just because it's so minimal. Like I said, if we were here the first time, we probably would have asked for it the first time.
And
So-
what are you gonna put in that 16 square feet?
In addition to the kitchenette, there's no outdoor sink provided right now, so it's additional counter space, hardscape, and a sink to finish off the barbecue.
So you're just pushing it towards the wall. Any questions? From anybody? Alrighty, I don't know how it's gonna be a little hard for me to quibble over 16 square feet, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second, okay, we'll start with you, Bob.
Yeah, yes.
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 Okay, you are approved and I will send you a letter this week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
So Sarah, let's go back to 33 Ardsley Avenue West and see if the technical difficulties have been remediated. And even if they haven't, maybe people might want to ask a few questions before we boot it to next month, if we can fix it.
hi. So
Hi.
I think I've taken care of my issues. here.
Okay, great.
I
Great.
will attempt to share my screen. Let me jump out of that. Let's do this. Landscape. Okay. And so, can you see me?
Yep.
Perfect. So, as I said, we have reduced much of the impervious surface. We've eliminated the hardscape, with the exception of around the pool, some minor footstones. But the pathways are basically going to be impervious. There will be, a decorative gravel. We have eliminated, as you see where my cursor is, there was a garden shed there. We've eliminated that. And that is pretty much it. We were able to get it, like I said before, we were able to get the impervious surface down around 1,250 square feet less. And the FAR was reduced a little bit by eliminating the garden shed and the pool house. But most of the FAR we were over only because of the existing house size. So
So what else does the FAR take into besides the house?
I believe we had the pool on it. But everything else is just, coverage.
Everything else is just coverage? I don't think that's right.
Yeah, FAR and coverage are two distinct
Totally different things, yeah.
Right. So FAR is floor area ratio, which is the ratio of the usable floor area versus the lot area. Lot coverage is the total coverage of impervious surface along the size of the lot.
Right.
So FAR is basically included the house, the pool, and the two sheds that we had. And we eliminated the two sheds, but we still have the pool, which is only 119 square feet. So it's really like a big soaking tub or a large, you want to call it jacuzzi type or Swimex type of thing. It's not, it's not a 20 by 40 in-ground pool. It's very small. So, in context to what we're doing here, it's really not that big of a area that increases the FAR. As I said, it's the existing house that really put it over in the beginning, because the existing, before we did any work, was around 6,300 square feet.
And what's FAR permitted on that?
FAR permitted is 0.166 and we're at 0.18. So it's like 2% over.
Okay, and so the existing FAR is a pre-existing condition.
Correct.
And what's FAR in total now?
So FAR in total is in a ratio of 0.8 and total footage is 6568 versus the permitted 6184. And I think in your packet, I do have the FAR, a revised FAR calculation sheet.
Could you bring that up on the screen?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. Let me just jump into my. Just need to find it. So is that up on the screen?
Well, just the ribbon. Now we get somewhere.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good.
Right. Right. So, it goes through, the first floor is, 3,050. Our second floor is 2,400. We do have an existing third floor. It's basically almost 1,100 square feet. So it puts us over. Like it says, existing, you know. So, I mean, we have, 119 square foot pool that we're adding.
We had some questions from one of the neighbors of neighboring properties wrote a letter. Can you take us through the fencing and the walls and everything you're requesting to put on this property?
Okay, is my site plan still up or no?
Nope.
Okay, let me stop sharing. I'll jump back to that. And then I have a layout of the proposed fence along the adjacent property. So is my sheet up?
It is now, yes.
Okay. So basically there was the proposal of, and it still remains along Bertha Place property line.
Mhm.
And basically what they wanted to do was enclose the entire property with a fence. So the house over here to the south, basically, I guess their driveway is very close to the property line. And there were some discussions about relocating that, which I had a conversation with my client, earlier today, and I will actually pull that one up as well. Let's see where that is. I believe that's that one. That should be the lands. So this is a revised landscaping plan based on conversations, the past few days with the neighbor. So I'll zoom in a little bit. So fence will remain along Bertha Place, and I'll show you a picture of what it's going to look like. The owner has agreed. Let's see what's going on here. No, that's not good. Has agreed to hold the fence 12 feet off the property line to the neighbor to the south. So, and there's a note on here, new property line to run through approximately center line, existing tree distance. Line is going to vary a little bit. So because we've got a whole tree line through here that we don't want to disrupt roots and things like that, it's going to meander a little bit. But for the most part, it'll be between 8 feet and 12 feet off that southerly property line.
For the most part.
So,
But
Excuse
to be clear, just so I understand it, and I read the neighbor's objection. The movement of the fence, you can do that as of right,
yes.
meaning that there's nothing that we would need to approve
Right.
either way.
So, it's basically a site plan approval issue.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for a variance for a fence,
Okay.
but they've had conversations. My client is willing to move it, just so you guys know, they're trying to be a good neighbor to, address the concerns of the adjacent property owners.
Okay. What about, there are walls that are on this
Right.
site plan. Can you take us through those?
I don't know why I keep getting a blue box, but, I'm a pencil and paper guy, it's much easier to deal with. So where my cursor is, so basically the entire backyard is going to be screened. And the initial intent was kind of an English garden type of setup. That's why we had the turret on the side and things like that. So this is a brick wall that's going to surround the property along Bertha that will be landscaped. That wall is only about 5 feet tall. It'll be landscaped on the Bertha Avenue side, as well as additional landscaping to hide, the rest of the property along Bertha. And then it will return back in an easterly direction, which basically screen the pool. It'll be 5 feet, and then it'll transition to a 5-foot hedge with a deer fence in between it. So it's, I've got 2 legs of a wall. which will be landscaped, so you really won't be seeing it from the street. So there'll be vegetation in front of it.
And that is part of the variance because you need that for coverage, correct?
So that is part of the coverage, correct?
That is
And the
part of
wall
the
is, it's an 8-inch, thick wall.
An 8-inch thick brick wall,
Correct. That runs
5 feet
60
tall.
feet. Correct.
5 feet tall. Anybody have any questions?
I would just like to go back to the FAR calculation because I made a note that you said existing is 6184 and the new figure is going to be 6568, yet the spreadsheet that you showed us had 6568 in both columns.
Right. So the permitted is 6184.
Okay, and what's the existing?
Uh,
I have 6300 also in my notes.
Yeah.
So how did we get from 6300 to 6568?
the addition of I believe the pool.
Well, you said the pool was 119 square feet. This is 268 square feet.
And most likely I have a Bilco door down on the side here to get
What
into
kind of a door?
it's a Bilco door. It's
I don't
basically
know
a
what
hatch.
that is.
So
Oh, okay.
So it's a small, so I need access. So we're gonna relocate the pool equipment underneath the raised existing patio that we're gonna reconstruct. So I need access from the outside. So there is a small, so a Bilco door is basically a set of stairs that go down and it has a hatch over the top of it. So I'm counting that in part of the area.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, and just run me through the numbers just one more time on coverage. How much over existing would you be, sorry, not over existing, over allowable? would
Okay,
you
so
be
so
with
allow,
Granting this.
sure. So our lot area is 37,252 square feet.
Okay,
The zone requirement is 40,000. So so just so you know, just to refresh your memory, we're the largest parcel in
Yep.
that zone area. So there isn't a house in the neighborhood that has even close to 37,000 feet.
Okay.
So it's an undersized lot, but it's existing. You're allowed 12%, which equates to 4,470 square feet. Our coverage presently, house, existing patio that's being reconstructed, some pavement that we needed to remain around the pool and things like that, the walls, things like that, are at 5497.
That's existing,
That will be proposed.
proposed.
And let me just go through my
Yeah,
chart.
sorry, and so you're permitted 4470. Is what you're
Correct.
telling me, right? So what's existing?
Just bear with me one second. I'm just
Sure.
looking at the sheets.
Sure.
Our existing is around 4,300 square feet. Right, let me just double check. Primary building, porch, patio, mechanical equipment. We're around 4,300 square feet.
So you want to go from being actually under to being 23% over.
Uh, I've got 17% over based on my chart, but okay.
Well, tell me what I'm doing wrong. You told me that.
I know, I'm just looking at the chart that I got, I could pull it up, the one from the town, the village as well.
Well, I can tell you how I calculated my number. You told me that 12% of 37,252 is 4470.
And
And
actually,
the
hold on.
proposed was 5497. So I took 5497 divided by 4470, which gets me to 22.9%.
Okay, so I'm actually looking at the wrong chart, so excuse me, that one. I've got to revise, so allowable 6184, existing is 6568. I was looking at an older form because I just looked at the date. let me just bear with me 1 second. Let me stop sharing because I don't want to give you guys the wrong numbers and
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I just want to make sure I got what I got. Okay, so I want to. So do you see my chart?
No, but yeah, now we do. Now we do.
All right, so this, it was easier for me to put in a chart and it's easier for me to understand. So, okay, so we've got the 3,700, 252, allowable was 6184.
No. We're talking about lot coverage.
This is, oh, correct. Okay, I'm on the wrong side.
Okay.
Okay, so allowable was 4472. We were at 4235 existing. So we're asking for, 1,000 feet. So it's,
It's 23% over allowable.
Yep. Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's a big jump. And I'm wondering how you compare to other properties in your neighborhood. Now, you've told us you're the largest property in your neighborhood, but
Well-
that means you're putting a lot of stuff on that property.
Well, I mean, he has, I mean, there are some that are
Yeah.
75% over, 100% over.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
Right.
there's
that's-
there's none that are under,
Right,
right?
right,
Except the existing one.
right. Yeah, except this one.
Right.
I mean, so that's, kind of, I brought this chart up because it kind of tells the story of the neighborhood. I've got lot areas that are, 24,000 square feet and it's a 40,000 square foot requirement. So, it's everybody in the neighborhood is well over. So
Right.
if you look at my percentage of allowable, I'm at 122% percentage of allowable. I got 175%, 109, 204%. I'm just, everybody else is over. And it's not that they're adding that much really impervious surface. They're just trying to make a backyard that's, they can enjoy.
I mean, just pointing out the obvious, that just on this metric alone, with the addition of the FAR, they will be sort of in the median.
Oh, no, they'll be second from the bottom.
Right, well, that's what I mean, it's not even close, so
Right.
it goes, it's not changing the neighborhood in any way. Right.
No, not at all.
The event that we would permit it.
Right,
No, you're
right. It's just, we don't usually like to give
Correct. Yeah.
such
that
a
much,
large
right.
jump, right? But I concede the point that it is consistent with the character of the neighborhood.
Yep.
So
all right.
I don't have any other questions.
Well, one other question I have.
Sure.
You had mentioned that the landscape plan was revised to move the south fencing in by 12 feet,
8 to
12
12.
to
8 to 12 feet
8 to
with all
12.
the trees.
Correct.
Well, now, was that communicated to the neighbor who made the objection? And was that acceptable to the neighbor who made the objection?
So to my knowledge, I believe they've been in conversations for the past week. I know that there were conversations the other day that I believe that they were told that the fence would be relocated. Whether there was a conversation today, I can't tell you. But I do know the biggest concern was they did not want the fence right along on the property line because the property line is basically the adjacent driveway. And unfortunately, my surveyor didn't locate anything off the property because usually they would show, adjacent driveway. Then on my survey, it's not there. Can you see the landscaping plan? Is that still up or no?
No.
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 All right, so let me pull that back up.
But is the location of the fence really part of the variance?
No, it has nothing to do with the
No, it's
area.
not. It's not.
It's not.
All right.
Okay.
But it is the only,
Thing
written
that was brought to our
objection that we
attention. Yeah,
have to
right,
the.
right.
Right, but
It just doesn't have to
it's
do
not
with
something
what
we
we
can
decide.
address, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions or comments?
I'm reclused, but I have no questions or comments.
Great, thank
I'm
you.
good.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion. I do appreciate that you did cut back your request on coverage a good bit and got rid of some of those accessory structures. I really appreciate that you got us from 5 to 3 variances. That's important for our consideration of whether you're asking for, one of the things we have to, assess is whether you're asking for sort of the least that you need to meet your requirements for your property. It's a big jump, but as noted previously, it is in keeping with the neighborhood and is not going to change the character of the neighborhood. So I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great, we'll start with you, Rosie.
Yes.
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 Okay, you are approved and I will send you a letter by the end of the week.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
No, I'm glad you could get them done and we could hear everything tonight.
All right, I
And
appreciate it.
with that, I think we are adjourned.
Well, don't we